So why do we need those other sources when we're starting out a website, right? Why do we need that kickstart? You can't just bring it customers itself. So why do we need all of that support? And that's what we're going to go over today. So what is support? Let's start with that. So what is support is something that's not your website promoting your website, right? So some examples are like pamphlets, social media accounts, all these other things that can actually really help you grow. Websites are more like a base, right? They're like, they don't expand, but they can, bring people in and get more information and get them to go somewhere else. So there is a lot of utility with a website still. Don't get me wrong, you can help a lot of people, but it's not something that will grow itself. You need fertilizer to grow the plant or whatever. There's a lot of different analogies you can use. But basically, you just need stuff to support it as well. So we'll first explain why we think like this, right? Like what is behind why we think it can be self-sufficient. So why, for the misconception, right? And it's really straightforward, right? When you build something, you get that self-bias, you get that identity supporting with it. So you built it, so you're invested, right? So that makes you more like selection bias, all the other biases as well. And when you're at the business and you see all the branding and everything, sometimes it can be like put to the side, I guess, the website entirely. So it's also like, what are you focusing on, right? / attention. Is it just to your local website or your local business, sorry? Or is it this or that, and how often should you check up on these things? That's why it's very important not to think it's just going to work instantly as well. Oh my god, I keep on dropping that water. Oh my god. Anyways, we'll ignore that. And the website's a destination, not a traffic. So what do I mean by this? It doesn't really bring people in. So at first, doesn't really bring people in alone. So that's called organic traffic. And organic is like, when it starts, almost always zero, right? When it's at first, once again. So you really don't want to focus on just the organic traffic, optimizing it for SEO or whatever, because if you don't even have a foot in the game, right? Like, how are you gonna compete? You have to enter into it before you start worrying about it, right? That's the whole point. So of SEO and stuff like that. So what are some things that some examples again of examples? LES. Sorry. Some examples: social media, right? Word of mouth. I just made that up. Maybe it's real. I know the word of mouth is, but I don't know about the acronym. So you have paid ads as well, which, not short term, but can really help boost you, make everything quicker. And then the local stuff, right? The stuff you can actually do in person. Maybe you like doing that more, maybe you don't. It's really just up to you and the time and the expense requirement. But those are some other routes to why we need support and what the support is. So why do you need more than just one support to the destination? So why, or another way of putting that is, why do we need multiple, right? So the reason we need multiple is, what if one goes down, right? What if one gets redirected or down or something like that, and then all your traffic is just gone, right? The organic support is not going to be there. So if you have multiple, it obviously diversifies. So that lowers your risks, right? I'm sure most of you know what diversification is by now, but that's just the basic concept there. So have more than one, play around, test, it might not all work. Especially with social media, have more than one social media account. Not per platform, but for different platforms, if that makes any sense to you. So how do you pick which ones are worth focusing on? So selecting, I guess you're selecting. So what is a really important thing to look at? First is the views / clicks click-through rate, it should be in like the 1 to something percent. Click-through rate is when someone has a view and then they actually go to. So that's the action of actually going to it, right? That's what click-through rate means. And where are they? Are they willing to buy? Are they really less willing to buy? You can get all this information on Google Analytics and on other Google softwares. So let's go over some misconceptions. If I build a great website, customers will come. Not always. You need to promote it somehow or get the word out there. Someone has to see your site before they really love it. So you don't just need one really good marketing channel. Having a lot of them can help you diversify and not get overly, overwhelmed. So a website isn't even worth it. Not always. It can be worth it, definitely, especially if you're trying to compound and grow and grow and grow and get a word out there. But it can definitely be worth it, especially if you are willing to pay or willing to work on it. And another thing is social media is your whole strategy. No, shouldn't be. You can. Don't get me wrong. Social media helps a lot. But having that central location also helps people get a better understanding of who you are, where you're at. More channels not always better. If it takes up way too much of your time and you're getting nothing off a channel, just leave it. Right? It's probably flagged or something anyway. And, word of mouth just happens. No, you have to get the word out there, right? Like, you can just put a website out. You can have your business, and then they look it up, and you use Google. There's a lot into this. So now we have to make, like I almost always say, your plan. So write it out helps with memory. So writing it out, what is the plan going to be composed of, right? So the plan is, what support can I build? What's my budget? Right? Not only what is my budget, but how much time am I willing to dedicate? So answer all of these questions, right? Get your plan out, and then act on that plan. So let's go over everything one more quick time, as I always do. I have a format, I don't know if you can tell. But anyways, so why, right? It's a misconception that you can just build it and, just build it by itself. It's all self-sufficient. It won't do that. There's my cat if you want to see a cat. And, so the destination is the website. It's not like, the website doesn't get people organically at first. You have to, that's organic traffic. And you want to just focus on what you can to build the website, and then the website will take care of itself, right? Some examples are social media, paid ads, local ads, so like flyers, billboards, anything like that. And don't put put your website name on there, but don't expect people to be writing it down, right? You just want to get your brand out there. People have to be thinking about you and then look you up. That's the magic behind billboards. No one's going to stop and write down your phone number. Sorry, this is not happening. People will look it up, unless they're really old. And if your target demographics, that maybe. But anyways, so multiple roads, so multiple social media, local. It's going to have both, because what if one goes terribly wrong or bad? Marcus, what are you doing? Anyways, so it's going to have multiple. So select which ones you want to focus on through their views and click-through rate. So views more vanity, click-through rate's more actionable, some more things you can actually focus on and change. So you want to write out a plan, what you're going to do now, what's your budget, your time budget, your money budget. What can you do? What support can you do? What can you make out there that other people want? All of that good stuff.